Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Billy Giannouloudis joining us here today from Billy G Life Coaching. Always a pleasure to have him here joining us in the space. And he's helping so many people, and he could be helping you next. Billy, please introduce yourself to everyone today.
Love it. That's the goal, guys. Helping you moving forward, whatever it looks like. But guys, I'm Billy Giannouloudis from Billy G Life Coaching. I'm a life coach and a motivational speaker. And our goal is to help you make progress and live life on your own terms, whether that's growing the mindset, growing the body, and even diving deep and helping you grow the soul aspect too, and bringing the pieces together. And it's a blast seeing the progress that people make every single week in our sessions or in our seminars. So I hope that today you can take something from this call just as much.
Great. And if we want to reach out to you, where can we find you?
Yep, guys, you can find me, BillyGLifeCoaching.com. You can set up a free call with me, and I'll be right there for you. You can find me on Instagram at Billy Giannouloudis, Facebook, look up Billy G Life Coaching, you'll find me, or even YouTube, Once a Week with Billy G, and I'm right there, guys.
Let's talk about greatness, right? I know, are you willing to be great is the question in a sense. Are we great? Do we think we're great? Can we learn to be greater? These are all different things when you got me thinking it's about greatness today. And by the way, we're going to open up the phone lines in just a few minutes. I'll put the number out there now, but we'll open up after the initial conversation. So 631-317-1291, 631-317-1291 if you have any questions. All right. So are you willing to be great? Explain that.
Yeah, no, and it's exactly what you touched on. Can we be great or are we great? I find that it's human nature. We're all striving for some form of greatness, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's a goal we set, a model that we follow in life, maybe it's a role we are, whether it's an athlete, a parent, an entrepreneur. I think it's just human nature that we're all trying to move forward in some way. So this topic of greatness caught me last week, and we actually talked about it on the recent YouTube channel.
I was going to say, was that your Sunday topic?
Right, exactly, titled, Are You Willing to Be Great? And we dive into it. And the basis behind it was not too many, like so many of us want to be great, but not too many of us define what that greatness is for us. And it's individual. And I think that's the struggle that we come across is greatness can only be us diving deeper into who we are to be the greatest version of ourselves. But somewhere along the line, greatness became celebrity. Greatness became famous. Greatness became something else, right? Exactly. So it's pulling us, trying to be something we might not be meant to do, or might not be meant to be, if that sounds weird enough, right? So if you think about it, if greatness is us trying to be the best version of ourselves, but we're striving to be something we're not, is that truly what we're meant to do? Or is us being the greatest version of ourselves on a greater level, does that bring more clarity, more progress in every step that we take in our life? So we dive into this on last Sunday's YouTube channel, but I wanted to bring it today to people because if we all have a bare necessity nature of trying to be great, how do we attain it?
Okay.
Instead of trying to reach out there to everything else, we got to bring it back to ourselves, which we always talk about here. And I think that's just a key point. Bring it back to yourself and wondering, okay, what does greatness mean for me? Am I being great? Am I trying too hard? Am I burning myself out, trying to be something I never was meant to be? And those are the questions that pop up in our coaching sessions at times where people have lived these incredible lives, but they don't feel that fulfillment. Yeah. And everything that we step into as life is meant to help us feel fulfilled so we can then enjoy our life on a greater level. Because what's the point of taking all these steps forward if you're not truly enjoying the process and enjoying the moments that you have or enjoying the people around you? So in this entire aspect, we got to take the step back again, ask yourself, what is greatness for you? But then sit there and figure out, okay, how or who in my life creates that impact? Because if you look at the athletes or the entrepreneurs or the people that have made such an impact on this world, they didn't do it by becoming someone outside of themselves. Like I always use the example of Michael Jordan because everyone knows Michael Jordan. He took over the world in basketball, whole 9 yards. Everyone knows he's one of the greatest. But if you think about it, in an athletic form, you need to practice as hard as you can, not to try and gain someone else's skill, but to grow your own skill.
Be the best you can be. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. So you're constantly bettering yourself in the process. You're constantly becoming greater in the process, but that process is forming a greater version of yourself. So if an athlete is the bare aspect of that, what does that look like in an entrepreneurial route, in a business route? Maybe that's an artist. Maybe that's a singer. Maybe that's a painter. Maybe that's a coach, a speaker, whatever it might be for someone listening right now. But you can only reach the next level in life, whether that's love, abundance, joy, whatever it means for you, if you take the time to dive deeper into what greatness means for you. And then the rest just kind of falls into place.
So different definition of greatness for everyone. Yeah.
Right. I like to think so. And I think that's the beautiful aspect of it, because rather than us trying to be someone else, we realize how individualistic life can be. And a lot of people are afraid of that because we need an image to try to strive towards. But at the end of the day, the image we're constantly becoming is a greater version of who we're meant to be.
True. Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Never thought about that. Never thought about greatness. Never really even discussed this. Interested. Okay. What's greatness to you, Billy G?
Right. So I think greatness to me, for my own personal example, I think we've talked about this in the past, but I can remember I had to set the role model for myself, and that became Tony Robbins. I got trained by him, everything like me. I had to set that. I wanted to be like him. And then somewhere along the line, that stopped, or that pursuit stopped. And I think I've given the example months ago, going over this story of I was sitting at the foot of my bed, exhausted. I was saying my prayers before I went to bed. And I'm sitting there like, all right, what am I doing? Why isn't the result coming? What am I not doing that's not helping me get there? And that, like a message sent directly to me in that moment, I heard, you can only be that level by being the best version of Billy you can be. And when that hit me, I sat there, I was like, all right, so I didn't necessarily pump the brakes on this role model goal that you're trying to pursue.
Yeah.
Always in the back of my mind. It's always kind of there where it's like, all right, I know what the image looks like that I'm pursuing. However, I have to do it my own way. And the second that stress faded, and the second that that I guess you could say pressure was taken off my shoulders of, you need to look like this, you need to be like this, you need to do everything this certain way, the tension left me. I go, all right, take the next step on your own, take the next step doing your way. So I took the edge off, and then it's like life just started bringing the pieces together. And Billy G Life Coaching, or Billy G seminars and everything that we've had in our area, it started to grow on a greater level, and people started to receive more from the sessions. People started to receive more in the audiences, for that matter, because it was more me speaking from my heart, because I knew I was trying to be the best version of Billy, not the best version of someone else. Right. And I think that's greatness to me, is like, okay, who is the greatest version of Billy? Okay, I know part of it looks like this goal of the role model of Tony Robbins. I know I've been on the stages. I've brought that energy to people. I see a glimpse of it, but it's not going to look identical, but it's going to look even better, because I'm the one that's in that process, not trying to put the pieces together to look like a model.
Interesting. And you also talk about never underestimating a setback. You said never underestimate what a setback could be setting up.
Right.
So yeah, because you might be upset. Yeah, I get that. Okay. That is so true. You might think it's a bad thing, or when that door closes, it's a bad thing, but then another one's going to open.
100%. A door is always opening, no matter what the current situation looks like. And that's throughout history. Whether you look at how all things work together, or whether you look at the age-old term is a setback is a setup for a comeback. So this setback is creating a setup for something greater, or even to connect to the greatness we just talked about. I've seen that in my own life, where I think everything's falling apart. My entire story that we've gone over in the past is where life just fell apart all at once, in everything, whether it's work, relationships, family, friends, everything was gone. And then I sat there and I just started taking step after step. And that's where life really started to come together. But if I didn't go through that setback, that pain that just shook life to its core, the setup of me knowing the knowledge that I know, taking the steps of personal growth that I've done myself and then now teach to others, would that be here? So me stepping into the greater version of myself had to come through a major setback that kind of realigned me in a great way. And in our coaching sessions, we see that a lot. And more recently, why I want to talk about that today is we had a great client who, younger client, 18 years old, and this kid he's been through the ringer. He's at 18 years old, he's lived in 19 different homes. So this kid's moved around constantly. Family has been at times shattered, and the relationships aren't the best. He's struggling with his own mental health aspect. So we go in every single week and light the place up. That's the greatest session. This kid gets so much out of it. He sees that he wants to take these steps of action. Sometimes it doesn't happen because of the outside environment. Sometimes he's more than willing to move forward after that session.
Yeah.
So it's probably been in the works for maybe, I'd probably say over 2 years right now, where, he made some bad decisions, which kind of got him involved in not the best people. Sometimes law was involved, everything like that. However, now that he's fully away from that stuff, he's just trying to get his life back on track. And he was just kind of like, I call it like a holding cell, where he's stuck in this environment. He might be upset about it, but something's going on behind the scenes. So he would keep showing up for sessions. He would get as much as he can out of them. He would try and put the work in, struggling with anxiety, struggling with depression, but we keep going. And then we got the call last week that he just got put on the table. He needs to make the decision on it. On the table is an opportunity for him to get a job, an opportunity for him to finish his high school and get his diploma, an opportunity for him to get work, get his driver's license, an opportunity for him to receive help with applying to college and potentially go to college. All he has to do is make the decision to, one, do it, but then he has to move to where this job would be. At that point, they pay for everything, and he's willing to take it, and he has an entire life back on track to where he's meant to be.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that incredible? So we are talking about it, and I'm sitting there like, I'm speechless. My mouth dropped because that came to him. So this entire dark period that he was in, the setback of, where's my life going? What am I supposed to do? Like, it's just not coming together. And then putting in the self work in our sessions, putting in the personal growth in our sessions, it was able to help his mindset kind of grow to where he's like, all right, I know I need to take action steps. So he did as much as he could. And he did it. And then out of nowhere, this comes and completely redefines the story to where he's back on a level of success, that if he makes this one decision, and it's on him to do that. And I think that's the fun part where coaching comes into play, because we can help you and bring you there. But we always get to that door where we need to be one to turn it. And if we turn that door, it means we are fully moving forward in these new habits, these new patterns, these new routines that I've put into place that continue to lead us to success. And oftentimes, some people, as much as that's an option, they look at the other side but that's the life that I know. And that creates a sense of fear. But for this 18-year-old kid, it was so awesome to witness the joy in this kid's face where he's like, this is it. Like, this is the opportunity. Life changes right now. I'm like, and all you have to do is say yes. And he's thinking on it. Obviously, that's a decision he needs to make, decision for the family members need to make at the same time. But it's just so incredible how one thing that could be such a major setback where you don't know where life is going is leading you to the exact door that you're meant to walk through. The setback was actually
set up. Got it.
Right?
That is a great story. Has that happened in other times with your clients too, where they've gone this dark spot and something positive like this happens? Could you share?
Yeah, I love it.
Happens a lot.
I think it happens more often than not, which is incredible because it's such an incredible moment to be a part of. And so for the clients that have helped, it pops up more often than not but it connects to what we said with that greatness piece just as much, because we're all individualistic. We're all on our journey, our individual journey, pursuing something greater for ourselves, but we don't know what that looks like at times. So for each story that I get to step into, someone's life that I get to step into that is willing to put the work in, we're part with you. We're moving forward with you. That relationship is there, and sometimes we have to pull you, sometimes we're pushing you, but you're moving forward. And then we hear these moments come about, whether it's a family coming back together, whether it's a healing that happens, whether it's something miraculous, it pops up week after week. And that to me as a coach is like, hey, me personally, you're exactly where you need to be, doing what you love. Keep going. And I love it. That's the best part about being a coach and a speaker, is because you're bringing this process, this life-changing aspect to people. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. But to see it, All right, that's joy on my part. I love it.
Wow. And seeing is believing. This is great. Literally greatness. So you're helping greatness to people in all forms of, greatness in their lives. And that's amazing that they're able to get through these hurdles with the hard work and dedication. Billy, remind us how we can reach out to you, please.
Yep, guys, you can go to billygLifeCoaching.com. You can set up a free strategy call with me. We can dive into whatever you're going through for a half hour, how long it takes, and we can help you. And at that point, it's your choice if you want to continue the process or take what you know and move forward on your own. You can go to Instagram at Billy Giannouloudis. You can find me there. Facebook, type in Billy G Life Coaching or my name, Billy Giannouloudis, and you'll see everything pop up. And then YouTube, once a week with Billy G. You'll find me there every single Sunday. And there's an entire album of videos for you guys, 286 or 87 videos right now. So
great. Wow. Awesome. And we're opening up the phone line 631-317-1291. If you have any questions, 631-317-1291. Billy G's open. Ask anything, right?
Yeah.
No questions off limits. What other experiences do you want to share with your clients today?
Yeah, of course. Recently we've had, so again, coming back to the setback leading up to a set up, sometimes that set up, I might be able to see it from a coaching perspective, but because I've seen it happen so many times, I know something's coming. But for someone going through it right now, where they want to have hope, they want to believe that the setup is there, but they're stuck. They can't really break through or see that greater aspect. I start to see these different signs pop up and I try and explain it to my clients. So I kind of want to, I'll bring that right now where, yeah, Wednesday. Yesterday, we had an incredible client. She's moving forward with her own business and everything like that. However, she's had the setbacks that come from having your own business where clientele or a contract falls apart or something didn't work out the way you planned. And we're diving into it in the sessions and we have to go through that phase of, okay, rather than getting upset by this, let's take a step back and see what's actually going on. And to connect it together for people right now, when you start to take a step for yourself into the next greater version of yourself, to connect how we already talked about, you have these goals that you set for yourself. You know that you're becoming something greater. You know that you're becoming more confident. You're becoming and you're enjoying your life more. You're trying to let go of these negative patterns, these negative behaviors, and you're doing it. So our client has been in that process for weeks now, and she's seeing the personal growth. But then you start to see that other areas of your life are starting to break apart or fade away, right? It's never the most fun thing that's happening unless you have that higher perspective, but it's tough to go through it. So that's great where the coach can come into play and help you in that entire process. But when those other areas are fading apart, but you know you're striving for so much more, you know you're putting the work in, trust and have hope and believe that something greater is on the way. Because oftentimes those lower aspects need to fade away for greater aspects to come into your life. So the goals that you're pursuing, so whatever you're trying to create or manifest in your life can fit into its place in your life. Some areas need to fall apart. So do not be upset if something fell apart in your life, because it could be something coming together in a much greater way. And we see that in our client. That's what we talked about yesterday in our Tuesday session. And to see where someone comes into a session where it's like, okay, they have a lot to dive into, and then to see where they leave, where we're at like level 10 again, that's even great right there. And then it's continuing the process. And that client even reached out to us this morning, and the momentum is completely back, moving forward. And she's putting in so much work into her business, which is great. But just to see the complete switch, we're starting Tuesday morning. It's, I just don't know anymore.
I can't. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I get it. Wait, today's Tuesday morning?
Today's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Oh, yeah, actually Tuesday. My what?
Right? That's when we met with our client. And today, Wednesday, she
got it. You hit me through for a loop. I'm like, a day off. All right.
But that's always awesome. I love those client aspects. But just to give it to people right now, do not worry. If I can say that, do not worry. Life is coming together. And it's our job to you go, Jill, just to take a step
some people don't even know what they want. Isn't that true? They're not happy. They're kind of stuck, but do they come to you saying, I just want more. I don't know what I want. I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling this. And do you help navigate them to find their own greatness? Because some people may not know what they think is great. How do you get inside someone's head? some of the questions that you ask someone to figure out, well, what is great for you?
Yeah, no, and I see a lot of people that come through as that, where they're confused. They don't know what they want in life. And there's a couple different approaches to it that I like to take. I'll mention two of them right now. The first one I always like to do is just to have fun with it, where sometimes when people ask that question, I just don't know what I want. If they're in a lower state, a lower energy state for that matter, a lower mood, we have to kind of break that pattern to help you kind of enjoy, like, hey, you're doing something right now for yourself.
Yeah.
Now let's break in and have fun with it. So I always like to tell people, and I have even started the process of writing a book on this because I've seen it happen to a lot of people, and it happened to myself. If you don't know what you want in life, if you don't know what that definition of greatness is for you, go back to the beginning. And why I say that is because when you're a kid and when you're just enjoying life to the fullest, having fun before school starts to level up, before family situations might become more stressful, and just how life takes its course at times, when you're just a kid having such a great time and having fun, childlike faith, if they call it,
Yeah.
your energy is so high. What you're doing at that time brings you joy. What you're doing at the time brings you happiness. And believe it or not,
Yeah.
it paves the way for what you're meant to do later in life. So the book I'm writing is called The Golden Strand. And the clients I've explained to, the friends I've explained this to, it actually connects together where it's like they live by it now. A meeting was an old friend I haven't seen in a while on Saturday. And he goes, Bill, I really need to hear more about this golden strand aspect because I see it happening in my life. And this golden strand is, again, going back to the beginning, or what you love to do as a kid. And you're trying to figure out, all right, what do I want to do now when I'm older? And to see what was it? And then to see the pieces come together. So I'll give my own example to kind of draw these pieces together for people. So I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. I love to help people. I love being on that stage and empowering people in the best way I know. That was never necessarily the goal. I just knew I wanted to help people. That's the only driving force I had. But if you date back to the earliest stories that I've been told of my life, for that matter, of when I believe I was a toddler or I was just able to walk, we'll say that. And my mom, my grandmother, my brother, we all went to the beach. So you don't want to lose a kid at the beach, but they lost Billy. And, they lost me and they couldn't find me. They're running around for, to them, what seemed like an hour, but it was probably 5 minutes. And when they eventually find me, I'm about 20 yards to the right of them, helping a little girl whose sandcastle fell apart because she was bawling her eyes out. So I don't necessarily remember what I was thinking at that time, but someone needed help. Go there. So that I connect to, okay, if you connect that right now with this golden strand aspect to where we are now, I love helping people. That's always been a driving factor to who I am in life. Okay, step one. And then one other image always stands out to me is when I was a little bit older, it had to be like 6 or 7. Me and my brother, we stayed over at my grandparents' house for the night, and we're watching wrestling, WWF, WWE. And me and my brother were big wrestling fans growing up. And I can remember sitting there on the couch with my grandfather, and they were doing a promo on the show. It wasn't a match, they were doing a promo. So there's someone talking on the mic to this incredible audience. And my grandfather's getting so upset. He's like, they only wrestle, they never wrestle, they only talk. He was getting so annoyed. In that 6 to 7-year-old me, I specifically remember the thought I had of, I didn't say it because I didn't want to upset him, but I had the thought of, I actually really like when they're talking to the audience because one person is captivating the audience. One person's message is reaching everyone. You go through life takes its course up and down, whatever it is, but that golden strand always stuck together. So the driving forces between Billy was helping people and impacting an audience of people with one mic, or one person for that matter can impact an audience. And you draw it together to where I am now. This golden strand from day one of my life was connected all the way to now. So to bring it back to your question, Jill, of how do people come in if they don't know what they want to do? Have fun with it. Because when you were a kid, all you did was have fun. Your only job was to enjoy your life and live life to the fullest. And that's all we're meant to do. So in those moments, your truer self was there showing you, hey, life is going to be good. Keep going. Life takes its course, but that golden strand's there. So in our sessions, people come in trying to figure out, we just remove some of the haze. And some people are like, yeah, I actually can see, I used to love doing X, Y, and Z. It usually meant the world to me. And then we start to build that up. People are like, wait a second, I actually really still love doing that. Like, who's not to say that's the step you're supposed to take for yourself to, one, bring joy back, potentially two, open up a career for you, meet new people, life gets better, life gets good again. Who's not to say this golden strand was always the piece of the puzzle that was just needed to be shown, for that matter.
Awesome. Great talk. Great. Awesome overview. I'm like shocked at this conversation because it's true. And I'm, thinking in my head, I have two little ones and see how they play. And it's so innocent and it's so fun. And I'm so rigid at times and I got to be a little easier on them. But if I could take that type of living, which I kind of do, I'm like a big kid most of the time, but and to just really explore and experiment and say, hey, why not live like that? Have the responsibility, but live my best life. And to me, it's all my greatness is about raising my kids. As hard as it is. And some days I say I hate them, don't really hate them, but kind of, you know what I mean? It's like, but yeah. And I want them to be great and to make them I want them to make themselves great and start making good choices. So, wow. Interesting. Thank you for enlightening me and everyone else today.
Right. I love it. And that's the beauty of it. Just to close it off on that thought, Jill, you think about it. I'll use you as the example. You want to be the greatest mom you can be for these kids, and you're doing it. And yes, as a parent, you're going to see the stressors come. You're going to see they're going to get on your nerves, and that's the part of the battle, I guess.
I know. Yeah.
But the greatest thing you can do for them is to be the greatest version of you, because the greatest version of you is the greatest mom they have known, the greatest mom that they look up to in this greatest form.
True.
And now you're stepping even the fact that you just said, maybe I should take more of that perspective on it. You're now stepping into the great mom they see every single moment of their life. That's love, that's joy, that's peace, that's everything involved. Now that you step into it, how great does that household become? It's incredible.
It is a lot of fun. Billy G, thank you so much. Let's go over your contact information if someone wants to reach out to you for a consult. I know BillyGLifeCoaching.com, correct?
Right.
Phone number, social media, YouTube, tell us, and what's happening Sunday.
Of course. Guys, BillyGLifeCoaching.com. My number's on there, but 774-238-2984. Guys, you can call me, set up that strategy call. On the website, you can go right into my calendar. You can pick your time that works best for your schedule, and we're going to hop on that call, hop on that Zoom, whatever works best for you. So there's that, guys. Also on our website, they just updated the entire thing. You can have access to our Mindset Mastery course. You can enroll, get all the information on it. It's right there to teach you the deeper levels of your mind to help you move forward. So BillyGLifeCoaching.com is that, guys. You can go to Instagram at Giannouloudis. You can see all of our motivational posts, all of our contents right there. You can even set up a strategy call in there just as much. You can go to Facebook, Billy Giannouloudis, or Billy G Life Coaching, and then YouTube once a week with Billy G, guys, every single Sunday. Hit that subscribe button, and we're going to have a new message for you popping up on your phone, your email, whatever it is, and you keep moving forward into the week with that.
Thank you so much, Billy G. You have a great day. Stay great to all of you as well at home. And I'm going to try my best to continue the greatness here as well. Have a great day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.